Gervonta Davis showed a terrible performance. He almost lost his undefeated record. The fighter, who even was not a lightweight boxer, just came from featherweight and almost defeated Gervonta Davis. The judges gave this fight a majority draw. By not counting even knockdowns, Gervonta Davis became unmotivated, untrained. He was talkative inside the ring and almost lost his undefeated record. Already at the beginning of this year, he told that he is going to finish this year. And instead of making the rematch, it was suddenly announced the fight with Jake Paul. Floyd Mayweather was the most popular boxer of the modern history. The fighter who is still holding a lot of PPV records. His exhibition fights are almost invisible, but even when he fought with Conor McGregor and when he fought with Manny Pacquiao, they set the record of PPVs. The gap is not so huge. He started to make it when he founded his own company when he left Bob Arum. And that's how he tried to make a lot of clones of himself to make money as a promoter. Gervonta Davis is the most successful project of making Floyd Mayweather 2.0, despite that he has his own fighting style, which is also fast, but he can offense as well. He made a highlight image of Gervonta, the man from Baltimore who became rich, and even left Floyd Mayweather to start his own deal as it was with Floyd when he left Bob Arum. But that was a story for media because he still remains in Mayweather Promotions roster. Cooperated with PBC, the same as a lot of Queensberry fighters are under Top Rank. And Gervonta Davis was motivated, successful and became a champion a lot of times because he was in featherweight, an IBF and WBA champion. Then he decided to move up because he failed the weight, and he has a lot of defenses of his belt. He was in the co-main event of Mayweather versus McGregor. Currently, he is a headliner of every single event of his own. Despite that he had a lot of rivals with the names as Leo Santa Cruz or Mario Barrios, of course they are not so huge superstars. Or Isaac Cruz, who went on the short notice. When Gervonta Davis found out that he has his own rivals and technically his fights became super fights, means that there are no side B, his rival is also a side A, as Rolando Romero, or Ryan Garcia, who is also a superstar and for no reason that fight was not for a title. Gervonta Davis found out that he can do everything by himself. Floyd is not necessary, and there appeared a lot of rumors about their divorce. But Floyd still was at his corner. Floyd just simply gave him freedom, but still helped Gervonta to promote himself. The fight with Rolando Romero was very loud. Rolly was very aggressive. And in the actual fight, Romero gave a lot of troubles to Gervonta Davis, despite that he was knocked out in the 6th round. Even one judge gave the victory to Romero. And already here Gervonta started to fight lazy. He is not a dangerous counterpuncher. He is not pressing the opponent. He is just playing with his victim. Right before that, he had a very tough fight. Isaac Cruz went on short notice. It already was a fight with Rolly Romero. But Romero had some troubles with sexual assault accusations, and Cruz replaced Gervonta. And here he was simple strong enough and uncomfortable for Gervonta. But he performed his famous knockout with Leo Santa Cruz, or how he defeated Mario Barrios, or a lot of dominant performances he made during his long boxing career. But a lot of videos and news reports appeared about his arrests and imprisonments. Before the fight with Hector Garcia, he even appeared drunk on the press conference. And during that fight, Gervonta Davis was unable to do something. It was not a one-sided beating, but Gervonta started to lose this fight. Only in 8th round he started to press down Garcia, and that's how he was defeated and lost that fight by round stoppage. The most interesting thing is that Lamont Roach pressed him down despite that this fight was ended by split decision. Means that Roach is not an opponent for Davis, but then he faced Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was the fastest hands in the world according to the TikTok Reels. But everybody who understands something, Ryan Garcia is only fast during the shadow boxing. He is an ordinary fighter during the pad works. This is a modern boxing when the fighters as Jay Opataya, they are not making intelligence. Every single shot is fully loaded, and Gervonta Davis is the same type of fighter, but in the real life it is obvious that he is faster, and that confirmed during the fight Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. Because every single time when Ryan Garcia is attacking, Gervonta is answering twice faster. But right from the first round it was obvious that he is doing this fight lazy. He is constantly clinching Ryan. In the second round, Davis was able to drop down Ryan, and technically he could finish this fight, but he still made it lazy, despite that there were a lot of fast jabs. Looks like he is playing with Garcia to extend the fight for the crowd. And during this liver shot, it looks lazy as well, because there was clinch. At that moment, Gervonta performed a KO body shot and Garcia was kneed by delayed knockout. And right after that fight, he was imprisoned. Nobody knew about him, what he is doing. What about the new fights? At the end of the year, Showtime Sports was closed. And when PBC signed with Amazon Prime, Gervonta Davis was invited as a main event fighter against his former sparring partner Frank "Ghost" Martin. The co-main event of that fight with David Benavidez versus Alexander Gvozdyk. And here Gervonta was motivated. Here he worked as a counterpuncher, pressed down his opponent when it was necessary, and then knocked him out. Frank Martin simply had no chance, and Gervonta Davis disappeared again for 1 year. At the end of 2024, he called out Vasily Lomachenko, and even announced the fight in November. He just became an IBF champion when he defeated George Kambosos, and for the first time Gervonta Davis decided to make a unification fight in the lightweight, because Devin Haney was an undisputed champion. Teofimo Lopez fought with Vasily Lomachenko. George Kambosos also was a unified champion. Then he won on IBO belt. He lost the fight to Lomachenko. Ryan Garcia also was an interim WBC champion, despite that he was stripped because of making no protection. But Gervonta Davis made a super fight only with Ryan Garcia, and that fight was in the catchweight for no reason. 136, and the belt was not on the line. He was somewhere at the side during the big war in lightweight division. And the negotiations were failed as well, because suddenly it was announced the fight with Lamont Roach. It was postponed and happened March 1st, 2025. The guy who is from featherweight, also a WBA champion, but nobody knows him. Even in the promo video called Gloves Off, an official promo video from PBC, they put bad quality footage of Roach's previous fight. It is even hard to find his last fights, and according to the knockout ratio, it was easy for Gervonta Davis to roll over him. The actual fight frustrated a lot of fans. Gervonta Davis was lazy again in that fight. He did nothing despite that he could. He missed a lot of punches, and he was kneed for the first time in his boxing career. Gervonta Davis was knocked down, and the knockdown didn't scored. There are no 10-8 in Lamont's scorecards. He immediately appealed that thing, and WBA is answering that it was referee's decision. That was no knockdown. He was not rocked. That is the reason why we must ban all 4 rotten boxing main councils and start to make the belts from the promotion side. A UFC's model. Gervonta Davis was rocked here a couple times as well. And that's how that fight is a majority draw. Gervonta Davis could easily lose that fight, not because of Lamont's skills. Gervonta just didn't want to fight. Right before that, he already said that he is going to retire this year. There are left to more fights. Maybe it's time to say stop now. Suddenly appeared the news again about their fight with Lomachenko. Also, the world was shocked when the fight with Jake Paul was announced, but the said reality is Gervonta Davis doesn't want to fight anymore. Probably he was forced to return on the ring, maybe because of money. He started to talk bad about his former promoter Floyd Mayweather. He is relaxed, not motivated. It is time to leave the sport now when it's not too late. When he wanted to make a fight with Jake Paul. The guy is from the cruiserweight. Despite that he is not so big boxer, he is much bigger than Gervonta. It is unclear why he chose that option, but it was cancelled because of new police report. And now Gervonta is imprisoned again. That's why Jake Paul fought with Anthony Joshua, where he was smashed and knocked out. We don't know will he fight again. Will he return on the ring? Maybe it is an other one story, as Tommy Morrison